How now shall we live? Worldviews in conflict. As this article was being written, news came from Paris that during the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics, there were serious blasphemies against the Christian faith and many disgusting and unbearable scenes. Similar to the incident when U.S. President Biden declared the so-called Transgender Visibility Day on Easter this year, many churches and Christians were deeply shocked and angry and protested to the International Olympic Committee. However, this is not the first time such an incident has happened, nor will it be the last. What is more serious than the harsh reality is that many church pastors and Christians only say that this is the corruption of the world, the work of the devil Satan, and other such empty words and phrases that are absolutely correct in spiritual terms, but they do not know what the essence of such incidents is, who are the driving forces behind them, and where they come from. The Berlin Wall fell on November 9, 1989. This major historical event marked the end of the Cold War, the defeat of the socialist camp headed by the former Soviet Union, and the victory of the capitalist camp headed by the United States. The Western world was jubilant. It was in this context that the famous political scientist Francis Fukuyama put forward his theory of the end of history, arguing that human history is about to reach its end and that the system of liberal democracy will become the only and final form of government for all countries. Less than a decade later, the 9/11 incident that shocked the world put an end to Fukuyama's theory of the end of history. In addition to being shocked, people turned their attention to Fukuyama's mentor Samuel Huntington and his famous book, Clash of Civilizations. Huntington believes that the wars in the 21st century will not take place between countries, but between civilizations. Islamic extremism will become the biggest threat to the Western world. The 9/11 incident and the subsequent wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, the rise of ISIS and a series of other historical events seem to confirm Huntington's theory. While people were admiring Huntington's foresight, another of his students, James Kurth, raised objections. Kurth believed that the greatest conflict among mankind would occur within Western civilization, between those who adhered to the Judeo-Christian framework and those who supported postmodernism and multiculturalism. Whether it is Biden's declaration of Transgender Visibility Day or the mockery of Christian faith at the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics, they are all manifestations of gender and sexual orientation diversity and proud symbols of multiculturalism. This trend has swept the entire Western world, where was once deeply influenced by Christianity, and even many Christian denominations and churches have kowtowed to it and become part of it. The Church of Jesus Christ has been persecuted and attacked since its founding. These persecutions and attacks come not only from religious and political forces, but also from the fields of thought and culture. The Gnosticism faced by the early church is a typical example of Greek philosophy invading the Christian faith. Gnosticism used the ancient Greek dualistic philosophy to distort and alter the core concepts of the Christian faith, such as God, Jesus Christ, and salvation, and thus became the most dangerous heresy in the early church. Charles Colson pointed out in his book How Now Shall We Live that the biggest challenge facing the Christian faith today is naturalism, which originated from ancient Greek philosophy. Naturalism believes that everything originates from natural properties and principles, follows the laws of nature, and does not require supernatural power. The representative figure of ancient Greek naturalism is Aristotle, who focused on empirical observation and rational analysis and believed that natural phenomena can be explained by inherent natural laws. Unlike Gnosticism, early naturalism did not enter the church and become a heresy due to its atheistic nature. Its development trajectory was basically outside the church and went its own way with the Christian faith. Naturalism upholds human rationality and emphasizes understanding the world through rational hypothesis, observation, experiment, and logical reasoning. It has had a huge and far-reaching impact on all aspects of human society and has become an important part of human civilization. However, The nature of atheism determines the fundamental opposition between naturalism and Christian faith, and therefore it will inevitably have an impact on Christian faith. The more the theory and practice of naturalism develop and grow, the more violent this impact will become. Darwin's theory of evolution is a typical example. Since Darwin published Origin of Species in 1859, the theory of evolution has become an unquestionable scientific theory to explain the origin of all life, including humans. The theory of evolution believes that all life has evolved from inorganic to organic, from low to high, through countless coincidences, and the survival of the fittest in the long river of time and space, becoming what it is today. However, the theory of evolution, which seems to be perfectly self-consistent, remains at the stage of scientific hypothesis even when examined by the logical system of naturalism itself. Simply put, there is not enough evidence in the field of paleobiology to prove the authenticity of the theory of evolution, because no fossil evidence of the intermediate species mentioned in the theory of evolution has been found so far. This phenomenon is called the broken chain in the theory of evolution. With the discovery of genetic genes and the development of genetics, people have become increasingly aware that due to the differences in genetic genes between species, it is impossible to achieve cross-species variation through gene mutation and random selection in nature. Although evolution within the same species is common and widely accepted, there is neither observable phenomenon nor strong evidence of paleobiology for evolution between species. The evidence of evolution that was once instilled in us in textbooks has also been questioned, denied, or even revealed to be a forged scam in later studies. Despite this, the theory of evolution is still regarded as scientific truth and is written into textbooks without question. The idea of evolution has also become a mindset and action guide that affects all areas of human society. The fundamental reason is that the theory of evolution provides the world with an excellent excuse to deny the existence of God and drive God out of every corner of human society. If there is no God, there is no absolute truth, no absolute value system, no absolute moral standard. People can do whatever they want. In today's Western world, postmodernism and multiculturalism, characterized by suspicion, rebellion, deconstruction and reconstruction, are the products of people doing whatever they want. The book of Genesis in the Bible tells us that man was created by God in his own image. Therefore, the LGBTQ movement, which originated from postmodernism and multiculturalism in terms of gender and sexual orientation, is essentially destroying God's creation and blaspheming God's image. Biden's Transgender Visibility Day and the mockery of Christian faith at the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics have exposed this evil nature nakedly to the world. Let's look at the Christian world today. Even in churches that are not so averse to social issues, we can hear a saying, we should focus our limited time and energy on evangelism, not pay too much attention to social issues, and not try to change the world by intervening in political and cultural fields. However, the large number of young people leaving the church make such arguments seem pale and powerless. Research data shows that among children who grew up in a Christian background in the United States, 59% of those aged 15 or above have left the church, and 40% of those aged 18 to 29 no longer participate in the church. If the research group is narrowed down to Chinese churches, the proportion of those who grew up in the church but left the church as adults is as high as 75% to 90%. When the church explores the reasons why young people leave the church, it often looks for reasons in the teaching of truth and spiritual development within the church, but knows very little about the trends in the world outside the church and their impact on young people. As a result, when the waves of the world sweep our children away, we are often heartbroken but helpless. More than 20 years ago, Charles Colson noted, "A debilitating weakness in modern evangelicalism is that we've been fighting cultural skirmishes on all sides without knowing what the war itself is about. We have not identified the worldviews that lie at the root of cultural conflict, and this ignorance dooms our best efforts. The culture war is not just about abortion, homosexual rights, or the decline of public education. These are only the skirmishes. The real war is a cosmic struggle between worldviews, between the Christian worldview and the various secular and spiritual worldviews arrayed against it. Thank you for watching this video. The topic in the video comes from Chapter 3 of Charles Colson's Golden Award-winning book, How Now Shall We Live? Links to some of Charles Colson's books are listed below the video. May God bless you.